Come on in, you guys. The door is open. Class is in session. We are at day 17 of the 30 Days of Dance 2021. And as always, welcome back to my humble little studio. Thank you guys for being here. Today, we are going to work on rhythm layering. So rhythm layering speaks for itself. It's the layering of different rhythms within different parts of the body, building some rhythms and adding other ones on top of it. It's a really fun concept, but it is a little tricky. We have had different classes about rhythm as well as coordination in the past in this 30 Days of Dance, actually, right? The one with Hurricane, who gave us the rhythms and using the single counts, the half count, one and counts, and adding other ones on layering. So rhythm layering speaks for itself. It's the layering of different rhythms within different parts of the body, building some rhythms and adding other ones on top of it. It's a really fun concept, but it is a Come on in, you guys. The door is open. Class is in session. We are at day 17 of the 30 Days of Dance 2021. And as always, welcome back to my humble little studio. Thank you guys for being here. Today, we are going to work on rhythm layering. So rhythm layering speaks for itself. It's the layering of different rhythms within different parts of the body, building some rhythms and adding other ones on top of it. Rhythm layering speaks for itself. It's the layering of different rhythms within different parts of the body, building some rhythms and adding other ones on top of it. It's a really fun concept, but it is a little tricky. We have had different classes about rhythm as well as coordination in the past in this 30 Days of Dance, actually, right? The one with Hurricane, who gave us the rhythms and using the single counts, the half counts, the quarter counts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, or in the same tempo, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and 4. That's really difficult to do. He talked about this, which is 1000% what we will be doing, but then adding different rhythms together, right? So think of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3, right? Think of it like that. There's one rhythm here. I layer another one right on top of that with my shoulders, you know? That is basically the concept. We also had a class where I talked about keeping a narrative, right? I used the example of using my head and moving around in space slowly with the same tempo in the head, or faster with the same tempo in the head. Well, that helps that building that coordination so that your body is still free to express and free to be able to either do what I just talked about or actually build, again, those rhythms, layer those rhythms on top of a stable or a set rhythm within a certain part. So we kind of set you up, or not set you up, we kind of guided you into the next step, which is today. I'm gonna keep it not very basic, because it's not a basic concept, but very structured into very simple aspects. And then from there, it's your challenge to try to build those aspects on top of each other. I could come here and build all these different rhythms with you guys, but then you're gonna be working more on trying to get one of those exercises right, as opposed to exploring the concept of layering rhythms for yourself, basically, you know? So I build or layer my rhythms into 3 different segments. We have the legs, we have the full body, and we have the body parts. I layer them in these 3 segments because that is comfortable for me, and they all have a different feature. I can add a full body and a separate body together, right? So separate body means head, shoulder, chest, hips, knees and ankles, the groove separation, which is something that comes back in the future. Full body is the bounce, groove, rock, right? The rocks, rocking back and forward, bounce, going up and down, groove, using the whole body to create those waves, those rotative movements to the rhythm, right? And then as well as, like I said, the legs, creating a certain pattern in those legs to help you build those rhythms as well. I put those three together and that becomes my base for rhythm layering, okay? It is not something that I do often. It is not something that I always implement in. I'm not gonna come here and be like, okay, you know, I hear this song, I'm vibing out to it. I'm either at a party or at a battle, and I'm just gonna step in and be like, you see this rhythm down here? Okay, now watch this. Ting, 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 ting. Now watch this. Ting, 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 ting. That doesn't work. Or at least for me, it doesn't work. That's not dance, that's just a party trick. So for me, the reason why I practice it is because one, sometimes when I'm in the song really deeply and I'm stuck inside of a certain pattern, such as here, now when I'm stuck there, I just feel that, it feels good. And when it feels good, that's when it makes sense. Not when it's a party trick and you try to truly, you try to create a whoa moment like that. That's not what it's made for. So please don't try to make this into a skill that you can show, but see it as a tool to eventually open up more space for groove, for rhythm, for different options within the body. This is going to be a big conversation of basically the connections of the body, you know, a conversation of getting over certain patterns or teaching yourself to fall in certain new patterns that you can create that can become comfortable for you. You know, think of it like I said, when I do this, you know, for some people this is uncomfortable. For me, I don't have any problem with that. See, okay, now I find a problem with one of them. I can't slow down here and speed up here. Okay, now I can. See, so that conversation will be happening within the full body. And with that, new patterns of how you use your groove, of how you use your rhythms within your dance will be created. Meaning you basically truly invest energy and time into just what your body is capable of when it comes to the dynamics as well as the coordination. And that's what it's actually for. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. The legs, like I said, there's three phases, right? Phase number one is the legs. Now in this phase already, there are so many different freaking options, but I'll explain how you can practice this for yourself. What you're gonna do, or what we're gonna do, is we're gonna search for a pattern that we can use. A very simple, straightforward pattern. In the video that I posted of me dancing it, I used a 4-step. It's actually almost a 2-step, but it's four parts, right? I have one step in front, or the second step in front, then the third one in the back, and the fourth one in the back. Boom, 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 boom. This is the pattern that I used. Now, how I approach this pattern, or let's say this is this is how I segmented my steps. It is a pattern, but the thing is I can approach that pattern differently, and now my feet are doing a different pattern inside of these steps, right? So that's why I couldn't figure out if I should call it a pattern or something else, but you understand what I'm saying, right? We have a movement pattern inside of a confined space, right? It's always these four. And how I approach these four can be done in different ways. Now, eventually, the idea is that you find your own idea, your own pattern, your own movement. Don't go too deep into that. Don't make it too difficult. It's about feeling what feels right. You don't want to build this whole difficult you don't want to build this whole difficult pattern and try to have to remember just that pattern, because then you're not going to be able to be free and open to layer anything on top of that. It's all about the comfortability of certain movements. When you learn to be comfortable with a certain technique, now you can add onto it. That's why practicing basics is so important, because, or basics foundational movement is so important, because they become the base of what you can layer on top of eventually. You know, when a wave becomes comfortable, now I can start playing around with how I use that wave, right? Now I can layer something new, right, on top of that wave. Any technique I want to do, I can layer on top of the wave because it becomes natural to me, basically. So you want to find a pattern eventually, not now. I'm going to give you one for now to practice, but you want to find a pattern that is comfortable, even if it's just a step side to side. This is one I did and did in post. This is probably the best one if you want to start building layers of other body parts on top of those legs, right? Because here, I can comfortably start focusing on the body without having to do too much in the legs. So that's a little hint on, or a little tip on where you can search. Search for, okay, song goes on. Okay, this feels comfortable to me. And that is where you're gonna stay, and you're gonna play around in, okay? So for now, we're gonna take the 4, because that is the one that I used. Like I said, in Hurricanes class, we had the idea of, we worked on the counts, right? The half counts, the quarter counts. So we can implement that into our stepping pattern. So this is full counts on 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we use the same pattern, but we speed it up to 1 and 7, 8, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1. Okay, try that with me. It's very simple. 6 and 7 and 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we use the same pattern, but we speed it up to 1 and 7, 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1. Okay, try that with me. It's very simple, very straightforward, but this is helping your body to get warm to the idea of playing around with patterns and tempo/rhythm, right? So again, 8 counts, single steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, half, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, double, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now with the 1 and 2 and, what you want to think of is not every single step, 1 and 2 and try to step back and forth really fast. What I do is I get a little flow. It's as if I kind of work in front, back, instead of one step at a time, front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back. You see, then it's more comfortable. You also see that my body is kind of taking that slow pace, tuck, 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 to help the upper body calm down and not be involved with the step too much, so that I have that rest and can focus on the steps. Let's go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and a 6 E and a 7 and a 8 E and a. Okay, good. Very simple. So that is within this pattern. Now, indeed, you guys, this is so like there's so many options, it's crazy. So my head is always moving forward to another idea or to other parts of this. But for instance, what if I now not do it in 8 counts, but I do it in 4 or 2s or 1s? What if I mix it up? Check this out. So let's say we do 4 counts, but then in half counts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, yeah, we'll do 4 counts for now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5, 6, 7, 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay, 2 counts just to get the idea going. 2 counts. So 1 and 2 and then we slow down. 1, 2, then we speed up. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Okay, I'm doing 2s and I'm not thinking in 8s for now to make it easier, because every time we get at a 2, 1, 2, we switch, 2, we switch, 2, we switch. If I would count the full 8 count, it might be confusing and you might miss a certain mark, okay? But of course, in the end, it's still same amount of counts. We think of 8s eventually, right? So here we go. To help you out, what we're doing is half counts, 1 and 2 and, from there we slow down. 1, 2 or 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 E and a 6 E and a. Okay, let's go. 5. And so that's how you can play with that pattern. And as you can see, I start to move in different ways, and that's what the next step is. And that's the first little section of playing around that I want you to do. So we have the different tempos. Right? We have the different tempos. Right? But now we can approach the pattern a little different. Instead of only doing right leg leads in front the whole time, now you're going to search for other options. So I'm going to play a song and I'm just going to groove a little bit with you, get you guys into that idea. We're going to play around with the different options of how we approach that pattern, meaning the different step patterns we can do. This is a different pattern within these 4, little panels that we are using, right? Because now I come back to a middle and then step back the whole time. I can speed that up. To work with. The last one is indeed the separate. And I play around with the different options of moving front, back, and up and down, or in a plus with my head, as well as my chest. And with that, even smaller if you want to.